Hi everyone, good morning. It's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. Hope you're doing great today, having a nice morning or evening wherever you are. But I'm enjoying a nice quiet day today. I'm having a cup of tea. I'm having a mystery tea this morning. I don't know what it is. We have a little shop called Al Natura in our local grocery store, and they sell a whole range of different healthy foods, supplements and powders and all kinds of cool food. And they have a line of tea, which is always a mystery. This is sweet chai. I have no idea what's in it. It says it's a melange of herbs and spices. So I think it's probably got cinnamon, cardamom. It's kind of one of those Indian drinks. But I like chai. And I've actually drunk most of my chai today. It's in there somewhere. But it's actually a very rich and evocative tea. Whenever I think of chai tea, I think of India. I've traveled there many times. I'm sure I've told you this, but I used to really love the thick chai that they would make with condensed milk. They would pour it in from a distance, like pour it down into the teacup, and it would froth up, and it was very sweet. But full of those cardamoms, cinnamons, nutmeg, and other Ayurvedic spices. But anyway, I go on about tea because today I want to talk about tea. Whenever I do a tea feature at the beginning of our chats, I look up what is in the tea and what good that particular herb is claimed to have or claimed to do. And I found honestly that there's hardly any tea that I check on that doesn't have some benefit to our body. So I'm really, really interested in just tea, how it got started. And one of our bloggers, Sean Geithner, actually has a company that focuses on tea, and she wrote an article about caffeine in tea. And I was really interested in this because I have tried to balance caffeine consumption. It's one of the reasons I stopped drinking so much coffee. But the question that she poses in this article is, does all tea contain caffeine? Many factors at play, she says. Now, it's really true that apparently there's one plant called Camellia sinensis that makes all teas. All teas come from that particular plant, and variations and trees that have branched off from that plant. But black, green, oolong, white tea, whatever you're doing, it's really all to do with where the plant is grown geographically, where in the world, and also how the leaves are processed. So this is apparently how you get the different tastes, you get the different variations. But according to her, all tea has at some level or another some caffeine in it. Now, there are some herbal teas that are not really teas. They're like they call them tisanes or tisane. It's made from plants, but not from that tea family. So, according to Sean, the level of caffeine in a cup of tea depends on a couple of things. It depends on where the tree plants are grown, how the tea leaves are picked. Are they picked like early on in the growth cycle of the plant or later on? The temperature that's used for steeping the tea, that can affect the amount of caffeine. For example, in oolong, you can actually use the tea leaves over up to 10 times. And each time the caffeine level will be different. It's obvious, but it's kind of interesting to think about. Oh, apparently there's the amount of oxidation of the tea leaves during preparation. That's another thing that affects the amount of caffeine, and whether the leaves are whole or chopped. All these things go into determining how much caffeine is in a cup of tea. And if you've got any sensitivity to caffeine or any desire to keep that down, then obviously you need to do a little research. So as I said earlier, re-steeping can actually affect tea. I went to a little cafe once and ordered oolong tea, which I really like. And the person that served the tea introduced me to this concept of steeping. And he says that the steeping the second time, in his opinion, is the best. But according to Sean, you can steep oolong tea, which is a black tea, you can steep it up to 10 times. And each steeping gives you a different flavor, different aroma, and a different amount of caffeine. So isn't that interesting? I just find that tea is the most fascinating plant, to be talking about. Now, when you're comparing coffee and tea. This is an important one. According to Sean, the way that our bodies react to caffeine in tea is really different than the way it reacts to caffeine in coffee. It's got to do with just the chemicals, I guess, in the tea. It's called a beverage tea has a thing called theanine, and this is where the chemical in the tea evokes a sense of calm. I guess in the tea business they call a tea they measure tea caffeine by calling the tea alert or the calm alert, and it's the level of calm that you get from a cup of tea. And according to Sean, you get this in drinking coffee or tea. With coffee, you get a bigger hit of coffee, and it goes right into your bloodstream, and it gives you that rush. You know, you get that, like, what, people want to have coffee in the morning to wake them up. It's that kind of instant buzz that you get. When you're drinking a cup of tea, you get that calm alert, that calmness, and the caffeine still there, but it goes into your body in a more gentle way. That's really interesting. And according, again, the difference between green and black tea, there is a difference in the amount of caffeine. Black tea does have more caffeine than green tea, but they both have caffeine. So be careful when you're buying green tea, for example, that you don't think you're going to get something that's purely caffeine free. It has caffeine in it too. So along with the many other benefits of tea, I mentioned earlier in terms of helping with inflammation and antioxidant elements, all the different kinds of things. It helps with blood pressure and stress and stomach digestion. The plants have all these different effects, but the people are switching from coffee, from the caffeine-only wonder of coffee to more tea brands. And I've actually, to be honest, read some things about coffee that are good for you too. So there seems to be just a goodness in drinking both of those things, but tea and caffeine in tea is important to notice the difference. Okay, so tisanes. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Tisanes, tisanes. These are the herbal plants that we call tea. We call them tea because they come from other plants, but they're served like tea. The leaves are steeped in hot water, and then there's a flavor, aroma that's all very unique. So, for example, chamomile, ribas, honeybush, peppermint, all those are tisanes, or they're herbal teas, and they don't have the caffeine in them. You'll find some mixes of herbal teas that do have caffeine in them. So just be aware of what's in that herbal tea. There's so many now that are blended. They're blended with different ingredients for both taste and effectiveness. So that's something to be aware of. And these plants that are the herbal plants, some of them are just gorgeous. They've got amazing scent and aroma, taste, and you add a bit of honey. You can do more with them in some ways. They're more like a flavorful tea, and you can do them for hot or cold, either one, and they make a great iced tea in the summer, like lemon and ginger, for example. I love that tea. Decaf teas. You're probably thinking, okay, so I don't want caffeine at all, so I'll buy decaf tea. And it's just like buying decaf coffee. You pay a price. The process of decaffeinating coffee and decaffeinating tea actually involves a chemical. So they have to add a chemical in order to remove the caffeine. And so in a way, you're kind of trading, caffeine for chemical. And it's kind of, which one do you prefer? And it's why, to be honest with you, I actually went back to coffee that's just regular coffee, because I was looking at an article about how they make coffee decaffeinated, and I thought, well, it's just not worth it. I'll just go with a little bit of caffeine once a day. So, according to Sean, she likes to start her day with black tea, which has got a higher, amount of caffeine, and then sort of ease off to the herbal teas and the less caffeinated teas at the end of the day, or maybe a herbal tea as you go to sleep in the evening. Isn't that fascinating? I just thought it was really cool. I just enjoyed reading the article. I'll leave a link to it so that you can check out the whole thing and just get the whole feel for what Sean is saying here. She's the expert, so we want to, all of our bloggers are experts in their own field, and I love that, because I could have never really researched all of this at the same level. So, hope this has been useful. Hope you're enjoying your cup of tea as I'm explaining this and you're feeling the calm alert. My Ayurvedic tea seems a little bit spicy, so it might have more caffeine in it. But anyway, I do hope that you enjoy your tea in a kind of a different light now. You see it with more insight and knowledge. And I'd like to ask you, what is your favorite kind of tea? What's your favorite? Do you like the black teas, green teas, or do you prefer the herbal teas? Or is it herbal? Whatever you like. Please tell us what your favorite tea is. We'll share some comments and join the conversation. So I do hope that you've had a good morning so far, that you have a great day. And please tell your friends about 60andMe. I try to remind you every day how much we appreciate you and how much I value your being here. So thanks so much for your support. It means a lot to me personally and our team here. So enjoy your cup of tea, coffee, juice, and tell us what your favorite tea is. Thanks everybody for being here. I look forward to talking with you all again very soon. Bye-bye for now.